Hello and welcome to another Digital Painter vidcast. My name's Terry Danichikimiak II. This is the Digital Painter, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I've had a request now several times to relook at Paper by 53, which is an iPad app that I've used from time to time to do sketching. It's a very simple app, which I really like. You know, there's not a ton of things you can do in it. So when it comes to general sketching, it's really nice. Before I go any further, just so everybody knows, I'm going to be using my Sensu brush. That's the stylus I have in my hand right now. And I'm working on an iPad 4 or iPad Retina. And just so you have an idea of what it is I'm working with. Now, if you're coming from the old Paper 53 tutorial, you'll see that this one is very, very different. The first thing you'll notice is there aren't notebooks in here. Instead, there are things called spaces. And so, for example, I have a space, my ideas, new tools, journals, more journals. Now, these ones are from the old version. The journal here, these are all from the old version. And so I guess when they made the new version, they just imported it. If you scroll all the way to the right, you're going to see a public stream, some people I follow, and then Learn Paper, which essentially just gives you kind of directions on how to use the program. Again, the reason I like the program is its simplicity. A quick note, when you go into something, so for example, let's go all the way into Sketch Ideas. All right, we're all the way into it. Now, to go back out, to move back out to, and I don't even know it's loading right now, but to move back out, you need to pinch inwards. So I pinch in, I pinch in, and we're back to the main page. Same thing with another one. So let's go into this one. Now we're here. I pinch in, and I pinch in. So the new journal setup is interesting because you can see all of your pages at once, well, with a little bit of scrolling down. And they take a little bit of loading. So I've scrolled way down, and there we go. They're starting to pop up. Okay, so let's go back out. If you want to make a new space, you click the Create a Space, and you can tap the button below to add a new idea. If you click on Space, the word up top, you can actually rename it. So let's call this my YouTube folder. And we will go ahead and start a project. Now here, this is really nice. You can do a couple of things. You can import photos, you can make presentations, you can start a notebook, plan a project, design an interface, and create a storyboard. Let's just start a notebook. And this gives you, it looks like different papers you can use. Let's just pick this one right here and click Add to Space. So here we go. This is that page. Oops. Ooh, interesting. So in the olden days, you used to be able to undo by spinning your hand around in a counterclockwise circle. Now, if you tap twice, it'll bring up what we just saw there. So I'm going to just put a bunch of marks down. So I tap twice. I'm sorry, not tap twice. Tap using two fingers. I say twice, but I'm using two fingers. So I'm tapping with two fingers, and that's my undo. Now, if you go out of the image, so for example, if I do this, just put my name here, and then if I go out, or I look at the next page and I come back, I can still undo. Okay. All right. There are also undo buttons down here at the bottom left. So you can see if I do a couple of good lines, I can hit that undo button down there, and that'll undo. You also see on the bottom when you have your interface not showing, oops, wrong interface. There we go. You'll see the T. This allows you to do text. A camera, which allows you to import an image into your notebook, and then the line. I'll click done for now. Let's go on to a new page. Okay, so we're on a new page now. Notice the question mark on the top right. These little tutorials are fabulous. You can come in here, you can watch them. So for example, let's click on the zoom, and after it loads, which apparently my iPad is very slow today, it just gives you a quick rundown of the zoom process. See the pinch out, pinch in, and then it does it again. Okay, so there is that help button up there for people who need help. To raise or lower the toolbar, all you have to do is drag up and down while touching an area of the bar that doesn't have something. Well, actually, you can do it even if you're touching something. So there we go. Yep. Notice here where the tools are, you have essentially an ink pen, you have a pencil, you have kind of like a marker. There it is. You have a thin pen, and you have a paintbrush, or watercolor, I'm sorry. Okay. Now, one of the new changes is the zooming in and zooming out is much better. It used to be when you zoomed in, you got a big circle on the screen, and you could only paint in there on the zoomed in. Now when you zoom in, it's just like any of the other apps. Let me switch to pencil, except there's a little grid here, which is kind of nice. We'll match my grid. There we go. And then you zoom back out, and there they are. So the zoom is much better. You also see the two little dots that are on the middle marker there. That means you can slide sideways. And of course, you have your cut tool, which you can then move around. You have essentially a roller tool that can create giant shapes. And there we go. See the little arrows and the straight lines? That's what the third one is, the little ruler there. If you drag, hold for a moment, and then release. And to make the arrows stay, you have to tap the arrows. So you can see now I've got these little arrows here. That one doesn't have arrows. Tap that one on. Okay. So that allows you to create straight lines. And then again, if we want to undo, 2 fingers, undo all the way through to the beginning. Notice what just happened there. I did a circle, and it filled itself in for me. That's another cool thing with Paper by 53 is that if you do a triangle, a square, or a circle, it will finish it out and make it look nice and pretty for you, which I think is really cool. If you do 2 lines like that, let's do a whole bunch of lines. Okay, so it wouldn't do it with 4. We'll do it with 2. Oh, there we go. No arrows. So delete that. And then, of course, you do have an eraser if you really wanted to just erase things, which I'm just using the undo right now. And then our color mixer over here to the side. So you can pick colors on this palette here. So let's pick a color like this red. And if you start drawing, and actually let me switch to, there we go. Let's switch to a different color. Or what you can do is you can actually actively mix. So you see here, you start to spin it around. And now if we choose a different color, let's grab the gray, it'll mix the gray into it. If we grab the blue and start to mix, we get some of the blue into it. And then, of course, you can mix backwards and then forwards again. Backwards will take you to the previous color. So that's a cool thing. And, of course, you can grab these and drag them over here into your color palette if you find colors that you really like. So I'm going to click done on that. I'm going to... Oh, so... You notice, right now I have 2 pages. I just used 2 fingers and drug from my right to my left. And if I zoom out, you'll see I now have 3 pages. So to add a page while you're already in a page, if you take 2 fingers and drag, there, I've just added 1. To go back to the previous page, you drag the other way, and here it is, there it is, and there it is. But you can also add, by using the little plus button on the bottom, that will indeed add a page. You can rotate, duplicate, and you can move these to other spaces. You can share to follows or share to. And if you click the share to, you can see we've got Twitter, Facebook, that kind of stuff. Or you can just trash it. Deleted. Deleted. I do indeed like deleting things. You can reorder as you like and make it look how you want. Zoom back out. You can reorder your spaces. And it's really, like I said, very, very simple. Just doing a couple of deletes here. Back to my YouTube folder. Now again, when you go into, so for example, I'm clicking the name there. If you start a project, let's say, create a storyboard. You can then add that to the space. And there's a storyboard. Okay, so there are some templates that you can use if you're interested in that. And again, to do that, you need to come all the way back out, click on your name, start a project, or let's do design an interface. Let's design a website. And now if we go back in, it gives me something that I can start to, and this is great. So we go back into here. Let's say I want a banner right there. And let's say I'm going to do a menu bar right there. And if you come into here, oops, you can, of course, cut and move things around. Notice how I just selected that one piece, moved it around. I could take this, maybe I want it centered. And that's just by, when you're on the scissors, clicking on the shapes. You could always zoom in, come back here. Oops. Let's undo that. You can add a little piece on that looks terrible. All right, so hopefully that gives you an idea there of being able to use some of these templates. Let's try one more. Let's plan a project. No, let's make a presentation. There we go. Come in here. And maybe you want to write... I forgot to do this. This is the text tool. You can put a little title on the bottom if you want to. Come over here. I can... and zoom back out and you see. All right. Well, I hope this is going to help you if you, like I said, if you're coming from my other paper by 53, you can see it's very different than what it was when I first got it way back when. It's been a couple of years now. If we go over here, like I said, there is the ability to see what other people are doing, which I think is really cool. You can do a search, see other people up there. Oops, and you can always hit the wrong button. Sometimes that's the problem with these. You know, you're messing with an iPad, you hit the wrong buttons. There we go. You can search by name if you know people, but let's, for example, click, and then we'll just click follow, and he'll be added to these. So, if you have any questions about Paper by 53, feel free to let me know. I mean, some really nice stuff is created on here, as you can see. One of the things I'll probably get a question on if I don't mention it right now is, let me go into one of these. And maybe somebody can tell me different, but I have yet to find a way to size up or down my brushes. So there is no way that I'm aware of for you to be able to size your brushes up and down. Other than, you know, you zoom in and they look a little bigger, but I don't really count that. All right. That's it for this week. My name is Terry Danich II. If you're enjoying this video, go ahead and maybe hit that subscribe button. If you're not enjoying this video, well, my suggestion would be to look for some other videos on YouTube because there are a ton for you to watch. Of course, if you've gotten to this point and are still listening to me mumble on about Paper by 53, you probably at least semi-enjoyed the video. I also run a website. It's www.thedigitalpainter.com. Feel free to check it out. I've got lots of tutorials there, and I really love creating these things. So that's it for this week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and continue doing art. Take care.